Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really fascinating, deeply layered research paper by Ivan Vargas. Vargas is a combat veteran, and he uses this incredibly unique lens to analyze one of the most polarizing moments in modern American history, the January 6th Capitol riot. But look, this isn't your standard historical recap. We're going to look at the exact mechanics of how macro-level media algorithms and some pretty glaring gaps in mental health care actually culminated in the profound, tragic micro-level events of that day. It's an absolutely fascinating perspective, so let's dive right in and see how all these pieces connect.
So, the author opens his research with a really provocative question. Does lightning strike twice? And it's a profound thing to ask ourselves, right? We usually tend to view massive, traumatic historical events as these rare anomalies. But Vargas's research challenges us to question whether these events are essentially destined to repeat themselves if the underlying societal vulnerabilities, things like isolation and media manipulation, are left completely unchecked. It basically asks us to look past the event itself and really examine the storm that created it.
Here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll look at media, mind, and Jan 6. Then, we'll examine the Ashley Babbitt case, followed by Officer Gunnell's lasting trauma. After that, we'll zoom out to algorithms and echo chambers, and finally wrap up with the path to accountability.
Okay, Section 1, Media, Mind, and Jan 6, the macro view. Let's look at the broad societal conditions bubbling right beneath the surface.
A massive emphasis in this research is the whole concept of the echo chamber. The author argues that our modern media consumption has rapidly devolved into isolated feedback loops. And think about it, especially since the pandemic, when isolation just peaked, the 24-hour news cycle found a totally captive audience. Rather than promoting community, these digital environments incited fear, sowed division, and provided hidden spaces where extreme rhetoric could just flourish anonymously.
What I found really striking here is a quote from Stephen Renderos, which is featured heavily in the author's analysis. The core thesis is that our media diets aren't accidental. Powerful media actors, tech oligarchs, and billionaires intentionally shape narratives. The research points out that these algorithms often push an agenda that is entirely disconnected from reality, basically prioritizing user engagement and outrage over actual factual reporting.
So the absolutely crucial point is how these giant macro forces actually break down the individual. The author outlines a very specific cause and effect chain. It starts with a lack of social concern and mental health care. You have vulnerable, isolated people. Next, they're exposed to highly biased, manipulative media. This naturally leads to step 3, a fundamentally distorted worldview. And finally, the culmination, heightened emotional instability and a really deep mistrust of institutions. It's basically a calculated recipe for extreme unrest.
Moving on to Section 2, the Ashley Babbitt case, fatal intersection. We're zooming into the micro level now to examine the actual loss of life inside the Capitol. The author anchors his research in the deeply tragic case of Ashley Babbitt, who was a military veteran. On January 6, 2021, Babbitt was shot by Capitol Police Lieutenant Michael Byrd as she attempted to climb through a shattered, barricaded window leading to the House Speaker's lobby. Now, by April of 2021, investigations by the DOJ and U.S. Capitol Police cleared Lieutenant Byrd, stating he acted within department policy to protect lawmakers. Fast forward a bit to 2025, and a nearly $5 million settlement was reached in a wrongful death lawsuit filed by Babbitt's family.
And this genuinely illustrates the author's broader point about law enforcement in a highly polarized society. This shooting operates at a very messy intersection. On the ground, officers are forced to make rapid decisions in highly uncertain, incredibly high-risk environments. Meanwhile, legal standards struggle to balance authority with accountability. But beyond the law, it's the public interpretation that shapes our collective memory. This event became a massive focal point for division, showing exactly how extreme political tension deeply impacts our trust in the entire justice system.
All right, Section 3, Officer Gunnell's lasting trauma, institutional disillusionment. Let's look at another profound human impact from that day.
The research highlights a deeply moving 2025 NPR interview with former Capitol Police Officer Aquilino Gonal. Gonal uses the word betrayed. Despite fighting to protect the Capitol, he expresses a profound institutional disillusionment. The author, who is a combat veteran himself and fought for his own benefits, draws a very direct parallel to Gonal's feelings of abandonment by the very systems he swore to protect.
The physical and emotional tolls here are absolutely staggering. Officer Gunnell sustained severe injuries during the riot that led to permanent disability and PTSD. But, beyond the physical scars, his trauma is compounded by the current political climate.
specifically his fear of potential presidential pardons for the attackers, and lawmakers downplaying the violence he survived. It's a really harsh contrast to his lifelong military and police service.
Let's see how this builds a complete picture of the human cost. On one side, the Ashley Babbitt case shows a fatal intersection of rapid decision-making and a fractured public perception. On the other, Officer Gunnell's story illustrates surviving severe trauma only to face deep institutional betrayal. The author neutrally presents both of these realities to anchor the overarching tragedy. Both individuals were swept up in a machine built by much larger societal and technological forces.
Section 4. Algorithms and Echo Chambers. Engineering the Climate. Let's zoom back out and look at the technology that built this environment. The research cites specific internal documents from Meta to prove that algorithmic bias is a documented reality, and it's pretty jarring to read. In 2019, internal researchers found Instagram's automated systems disproportionately banned Black users, yet superiors delayed the fixes. Furthermore, Facebook reportedly utilized a race-blind approach to hate speech, essentially treating slurs against marginalized groups with the exact same severity as disparaging remarks against white people. When employees suggested adjustments, executives allegedly declined due to fears of pushback from conservative partners.
Vargas makes a terrifying comparison here. This is a non-stop feedback loop designed to function exactly like addictive Las Vegas slot machines. Our attention has been entirely commodified. The algorithms aren't designed to inform us, they're designed to keep us hooked, prioritizing corporate revenue over social stability. And when you mix this addictive outrage machine with the mental health crisis we discussed earlier, well, the real-world consequences become explosive.
Finally, Section 5, the path to accountability. What's next? How do we fix a system that is this deeply broken?
The author poses a stark contrast regarding our resources. Currently, tech billionaires are investing heavily in AI data centers, projects that the research notes are monopolizing media, causing environmental strain like massive droughts, and continuing to sow division. Conversely, what society actually needs to heal is universal mental health care and platforms that foster genuine, mutual connection. We are essentially investing in the very machines that divide us, rather than the social safety nets that could unite us.
But it's not all doom and gloom. There is some optimism in the research. Tools for media literacy do exist. The author highlights platforms like Ground News, which is an aggregator designed specifically to help users identify media bias by laying out exactly how different outlets cover the same story. It gives the individual the power to compare perspectives and actually break out of those dangerous partisan echo chambers. It's a tangible way to reclaim our media diet from the algorithms.
And this brings us to a final, really provocative question derived from Vargas's research. Is surrendering our privacy to AI and tech monopolies worth the ultimate cost to our social stability? When we trade our data for minimal digital gains, we're feeding the exact monolithic systems that engineer our outrage and division. The events of January 6th showed us the human cost of that trade. So the question now is, what will you do to take back control of your own worldview? Thank you for joining me for this explainer, and remember to keep questioning what you read.